What's up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big Johnny G for Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. Monday's here again. I hope everyone's enjoying themselves, or whatever day of the week it is that you happen to be watching this. But we do a new video every single day of the week, so hopefully you'll find something that you enjoy. Now today I want to jump back to a topic I've touched on before, and now I want to add on to, and that's Marvel Champions, the card game. All I want to do is tell you my personal favorite ranking for their expansion boxes. So why don't we take a look and see what it is and why I particularly like them in what order. I'm not saying this is the best order, I'm just saying it's my favorite order. So in the comments, why don't you let me know and everyone else what your favorite order of the expansion boxes are. Alright, I'll see you down the table. Alright, so now, you might be thinking to yourself, why I'm not doing this as a Big Giant G's 5 favorite, and that's because there are only 5 expansion boxes out for this game right now. So obviously they're all on the list. And yeah, I could do it just to give it the order, but it feels kind of pushy. There are only 5 out. You know what's going to be on the list. In another year or two, when there's 8, 9, or 10 out, then I'm going to re-examine this for my 5 favorite episodes. But for right now, I just want to tell you what the order that I like them best in. So just starting off right there at the bottom, number 5, and please remember, I do love all of these expansions, and I'm so glad that I have them all. But at the bottom of that list, I'm going to have to put Galaxy's Most Wanted. Now, it's nice to have something that branches out from the Avengers that's been dominating this game so far. And I love me the Avengers. But yeah, to see something new, something different branching out and seeing the Guardians of the Galaxy set, so to speak, coming out, that's a plus. I did really enjoy that. This is a tough system, and it does really feel like you're spiraling out of control sometimes, like down a vortex or a black hole, maybe I be more accurate. And that does make it a tense game to play, which I do enjoy. It has all of that there, and I've continued to enjoy it, and I will do some more because these games are so great with replayability, and the chance to just keep mixing things up does give you the chance to experience things over and over again, and it doesn't feel as old as fast, not at all. Now, obviously, if you're a big fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy, you're going to want this for your set collection regardless. I think it is a good addition to the game, and everyone should have it. It's going to bring a good mix of new villains and heroes that you're going to be able to use, even if you don't use them in a campaign form, just to have all of these available. And that pretty much is an opinion going through everything of mine, because I am a bit of a completionist about this. But it is a really good set, but it happens to be at my bottom because mainly because others I have more fun with. That's really the main reason it's at the bottom of the list. It was really tough for me to put this list together because of that, and a lot of the times it really did just come down to what am I having more fun with, really is the key answer to any of these questions. Coming up next at number 4, I would have to say that it would be Mutant Genesis. Now, again, as I just previously said, again, it's nice we're getting away from the Avengers, something new, building upon the universe that we have here, spilling out of our boxes. So I did really enjoy that, even though I've never been the biggest of X fans. I like them, I enjoy them, but I've always been more of an Avengers, Defenders, Spider-Man, Hulk kind of guy. But it is really good that they're here because they do bring some amazing characters. Even if you're not the biggest fans in the world, you know individually they do have some of the most amazing characters. Now, this is also a good set because we haven't seen a hero wave like this since the game first dropped. We had 6 heroes, but I think ever since then it's been 4 or 5 heroes, and now we're back to 6 hero drop. And that makes sense because they're trying to fill out the mutant universe, or the mutant part of this universe, as quickly as they can now. In my personal opinion, there's going to be one more mutant box and then an FF box for Fantastic Four, but we'll see. But they do have a lot of material they need to add in. Now, this gives an amazingly tough campaign. Running through this is going to be one of the toughest ones you've ever played. If you're looking at these campaign sets as far as difficulty goes, this would probably be at the top of your list. Definitely it would be. Now, if you're a fan of the X-Men, again, just like I said for the Guardian box, if you're a fan of the X-Men, you're going to want this. This is going to be part of your collection, regardless of whether you think it's one of the best or one of the worst, or just somewhere in between. This is definitely for you. Now, next with Sinister Motives, it really brings the Spider-Verse to life. Now, introduced with the core game, and because of the movies, Spider-Man is an Avenger. And he has been on and off, a tertiary member at times in the past, but nowadays he's a full member. But he also has his own sort of Spideyverse. And this box explores that. So it isn't the first box to expand out of the Avengers universe, but it takes one of the Avengers and puts a microscope on his own personal corner of the Marvel Universe, cosmos, multiverse setup kind of thing. Now that's another word. Multiverse. It also sets up the multiverse in this game. Now, maybe that's not a big deal to you. Maybe that's not a big deal to the game itself, but I love it. I love the fact that now, officially in the game box, we do have game reference to the multiverse. So that's a huge plus, a huge bonus for me. The campaign is great. This is also the first, it's the first time, and I think so far the only time, that they've created their own villain. Spoilers, at the end of these Sinister Motives, you have to fight Venom Goblin. I think it would have sounded better the other way, Goblin Venom, but it wasn't me. I didn't write the character. I didn't create the character. So they did do a gestalt. They took two existing villains and they put them together and make one. This sounds very logical. I'm surprised it hasn't been done in the comics before. Venom is bonded with many heroes throughout the multiversal stories, but not Green Goblin. So, although they created their own villain, it's still part of the same system. It feels like Marvel should have had this villain in their stockpile of multiversal villains somewhere to begin with anyway. Shadow of the Mad Titan is my second favorite of these expansions. I guess that kind of gives away what the next one is. But it is, because it takes the seed of an idea that was present in my number one pick, and it really expands upon it in a sense that feels both familiar to the movies and familiar to the comics. And it builds upon the first expansion box. Now, that's not really talked about a lot, but it is through the use of the Infinity Stones gems. I forgot which universe comics are. I can't remember which calls them which anymore at this point. I've used them so much now. But yeah, so it uses both. It's introduced in the Red Skull one, and then in this expansion, the Shadow of the Mad Titan, obviously it's all about the Infinity Stones. This has probably the until the X-Men box came out, I think, this had the strongest feel of a real Marvel comic, because it really kind of was based on the Thanos quest. The original Thanos quest from the late 80s, was it? That really issued in the entire Infinity War. What started everything, the original OG Infinity War. And this definitely feels like that Thanos quest story. And I can say that the rest of the expansion boxes, with the exception of maybe the fight with Magneto in the X-Men box, really feels that way. And another interesting thing is it doesn't stop at the Infinity War, Infinity Glove storyline really necessarily, because it also, you get a chance for Loki and Hela to come out as major villains in this. So it adds in a few things that really come together well, makes it feel like the comic book inspiration that it was. And I just really love playing it so much. It's something that if you came into Marvel through the movies, you are really going to love this. So obviously then, yes, Rise of the Red Skull, the very first expansion, which a lot of people put down, and it isn't very popular, honestly, from what I've seen online. But it is to me. This is what kicked it all off. This is the expansion box that, if it didn't work, could have hurt the entire series moving forward. It's kind of like the Patrick Troughton of Doctor Who, the second Doctor. If it didn't work, everything was going down the drain. And that's the way I feel with this. And it did work. It taught the system, it taught the game designers how to do a campaign. Yes, they've added on to that. Yes, they've improved upon that. But this is where it all comes from. This is the seed that has grown everything else that we love in this whole series, this game box series, these cards, these amazing adventures in card form that they really are. Now, I also like it because it introduces, as I had mentioned in the previous one about the Shadow of the Mad Titan, is it does introduce the Infinity Stones. And I think it is an amazing way to bridge the core game into the next expansion box, the Shadow of the Mad Titan. It creates a sort of trilogy, I think, between that and the core and the next one. It brings it together. It sews it all up tightly and nicely. I also want to say that I feel that this is a really amazing expansion step from the core box, in a sense, if you follow me. Like, the adventures, the villains, the scenarios in the core box were good, they were fun, they taught you, me, how the game runs in a very good manner. From easier to tougher to harder villain, showing us the different styles that they could possibly use with their different quests and missions and side stuff going on, and how it grew and we learned with it. This, I feel, is the same way. It helps you understand how the system is growing even more further out into expansions, and also to a degree into the scenario packs that are going to be coming out, which I've already discussed. It taught everything. This is a must. I think if you have the core box, you absolutely must have Rise of the Red Skull, no matter what any other of the expansions are that you have. That's my thought on it and why I think that way. But what are your thoughts? Which expansion boxes do you like best? And if any, which would you chuck? All right, everyone, thank you very much. I'm your buddy Big John and G for Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming, and I am out of here.